All right, so it is Tuesday of my second week of inpatient peds, and today's really the first day of the work week because yesterday was Labor Day. So have a little bit of a short week. I just got home from the hospital. It's around 12:30 right now, so had a half day in terms of like clinical work because every Tuesday afternoon for pediatrics, we have didactic sessions from usually like 1 to 5. Just have lectures all afternoon. So it's kind of a break, kind of not, but at least it's nice to be home at a reasonable hour because we can just do the lectures from home. But even with it being a shorter week, I kind of wanted to talk about how many hours we typically work in medical school. Work is a loose term. It's not really our job, but it is sort of a job because we have to, be in person there every day. We're seeing patients, talking to residents about the orders and, doing some sort of work activities, but it's school and we're paying for it instead of being paid. But regardless, the amount of hours we work kind of depends on the specialty you're on. So, for example, I just got off of psych, which is one of the later specialties, and there were some days where I was only there for like 3 or 4 hours, and then contrast that with surgery where we have to do 24-hour shifts, and then on top of those 24-hour shifts the average day is at least 12 hours. So it can be very different based on what rotation that you're actually on. Pediatrics so far has been a little bit higher workload than I thought it was going to be. I think it's just because I've been on the inpatient side, which just generally is longer hours. So like last week, every day was pretty much 7 to 5. Be similar this week. However, I have a few short calls, so I actually have to be there till 8. And then I also have a weekend shift. So even though we had Monday off, I don't really have a short week. I'm still working 5 days straight. Okay, so it is now Thursday. Yesterday I had my first short call, so I had to be there from 7 to 8 p.m. So that was a pretty long day. In the morning, got there around 7 like normal. Just checked up on my patients, prepared presentations. So we did rounds, then just studied a little bit in the afternoon. I think we had like one admission, maybe around like 2 or 3, so I helped the PA with that. And then around 6, we did sign out from the day attending to the night attending. So just kind of went through all the patients we had, who was very stable and didn't really need anything done, who we needed to watch a little closer, or we had one asthma patient who was getting a sort of nebulizer treatment every 3 hours, so made sure that the attending knew about that and knew to check up on them pretty frequently. And then after that, just kind of hung out with the night crew and waited for admissions to come in. I kind of lucked out because we didn't have any admissions when I was there, sort of like later. But as soon as 8 o'clock hit, the attendant came out and was like, "Oh, we have 2 admissions. One's down the ED, one's going to be a transfer from a different hospital." But she was like, "I know you're done at 8, so you can go home." So I was very, very happy about that. Recently I've been sort of slacking in terms of going to the gym, running, that kind of stuff. So I just had it in my mind that no matter what, whether I was going to get off early last night or not, I was going to the gym. So like I packed clothes and just drove straight from the hospital to the gym. Didn't get there till like 9 o'clock because the hospital I'm at is kind of far away from where I live. And, just had a quick workout, got home like right before 10, and then basically just ate and went to bed. But sometimes you just have to do that. I'm going to experience that in residency a lot. It's going to be way harder to try to fit in hobbies or going to the gym. So you just kind of have to make a plan ahead of time. I feel like that usually helps me out where I have all of my workouts written out already. I know exactly like what I'm doing that day, so it kind of lessens the mental burden of having to figure out what to do once you get to the gym. And then also for me, like if I come home from the hospital, I find it a lot harder to get back up and go out to the gym. So if I like pack clothes with me and just like change in the locker room at the gym, I'm able to be a lot more accountable, and it's a lot more likely that I'm actually going to go to the gym that day. So today's Thursday. Thankfully, I will have a normal 7 to 5 day. Shouldn't have to stay late for any reason. So it's a bit of a break because tomorrow I have another late shift, and then I do have to work Saturday. All right, it is Friday morning. I have another long call today, unfortunately. It's just been a really busy week for some reason. I don't know, it's just how the schedule shaked out. So I'm about to head to the hospital. I will be there again from 7 to 8 p.m. And this is kind of my last day of inpatient because from what I understand, my shift tomorrow is going to be a little bit different from the normal process of getting there at 7, pre-rounding on patients, and presenting on them. So this is kind of my last day. It's a little bit bittersweet. While pediatrics isn't my favorite specialty by any means, all the people that I've been working with have been awesome. All of the PAs and NPs that I've been working with a little bit more closely have been very helpful, teaching me a lot, and then all the attendings that I've been working with have been awesome as well. Just very nice. It's sort of the stereotype that pediatricians tend to be on the nicer side compared to some of the other specialties, and that's been holding true. So in terms of that, I will miss inpatient a little bit. However, I will not miss the schedule. Inpatient are 2 of our busier weeks on this rotation because most days are 7 to 5, if not 7 to 8. Pretty much every week I'm on after this will be more like 9 to 5 instead of 7 to 5, so I'm looking forward to that. Alright, it is Saturday after my last shift of inpatient. Today was actually really nice because I was able to get up, work out, get a little bit of work done before heading into the hospital, just because our Saturday shifts start at 10 for some reason. I'm not really sure why. Usually like the changeover is 7 a.m. and that's when the PAs get there on the weekends, but I wasn't going to complain because I was able to get some work done before actually heading into the hospital. I was a little bit confused about the 10 a.m. start time because that's usually when rounds start throughout the week. I asked one of the attendings a few days ago about it, and they were like, no, still come at 10. Like, usually weekends are a lot more lax. Like, you don't have to do formal presentations or anything like that. So I was like, okay, good. She even said that rounds would probably be over by the time I got there, so that's kind of what I was expecting. But when I walked in, I just sat down. I was just chart checking patients, seeing if there were any updates. Then the PA came in at like 10:30 and she was like, oh, we're gonna round. So I was like freaking out a little bit. I was like, oh, well, I didn't see any patients. I didn't prepare any presentations. She's like, no, it's like not like that. So we basically just go around as me, the PA, and the attending. We would talk about the patient very briefly. Most of the patients I already knew pretty well because I was there the whole week. Went and saw them, and then we just kind of sat around for any admissions. There weren't any in all the hours that I was there. I don't really know why. It must have just been a slow day in the ED, so I just kind of sat there and got a lot of work done, which was very well needed because PEDS has a lot of content. So all in all, between Tuesday through today, so a 5-day total of working, I ended up working 54 hours. Tuesday was a little different because it was a half day of actual clinical work, but then we had another half day of didactics, so I counted that in the total. And these 54 hours is just hours in the hospital. It doesn't count anything sort of outside of scheduled academic time, like studying, doing research, doing any other extracurricular. So yeah, clerkships are very busy. I think the one regret that I've had since being on clerkships is I didn't take advantage of all the free time that I had during preclinical. It didn't really feel like we had much because we were studying all the time for our preclinical exams, but once you get to clerkships, it doesn't stop and honestly just gets worse because you still have exams that honestly count more than our exams in preclinical, and now you're working at least a full-time job, sometimes more on top of that. With that being said though, I still enjoy clerkships way more than preclinical just because you are having that patient interaction and feeling like you're contributing to the team. Alright, well that is going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like below and subscribe if you want to see videos like this in the future. Thanks, and I will see you in the next one.